Um, Continuing on, and as Chris mentioned, that Netflix is a player in the game as well. And Netflix, the biggest thing with Netflix, everybody was asking was going, well, but they don't like to release movies in theaters. Well, now there's a story that says basically they wouldn't be doing that. They wouldn't mess with that. That's what they're saying. So let's see what this says. Netflix reportedly vows to continue releasing Warner Brothers movies if a merger happens. Okay, let's see what they're saying. Despite previous streaming-focused approach to entertainment, Netflix has reportedly agreed to honor Warner Brothers' theatrical commitments should it acquire the David Zaslav-run company. One party that has unexpectedly climbed at the top of the list for candidates to acquire Warner Bros. Discovery is Netflix. Despite a previous report stating Netflix was mainly interested in driving up the price for Paramount Skydance, the streaming giant has actually made significant moves to purchase the company. After securing the services of an investment bank, Netflix CEOs Ted Sarandos and Greg Peters were said to really want to acquire Warner Brothers. Now, a new report seems to indicate that Netflix might be more committed to the sale than previously thought. According to Bloomberg, Netflix has informed Warner Bros. Discovery that should a merger between the two occur, it will continue to release the studio's movies in theaters. Per the report, Netflix also plans to honor Warner Bros. Contractual agreement for theatrical releases. Significant potential development. Netflix honoring the previous deals is to be expected in case of a merger. They are, after all, contractual obligations. What's significant is the streamers purported vow to keep releasing movies in theaters. A previous report from the Wrap stated that Netflix was slowly warming up to the idea of theatrical releases. As such, it's an evolution that has been coming for some time. However, acquiring Warner Bros. Discovery would fully thrust a streamer into theatrical business much sooner than it seemed like it was going to happen. Michael O'Leary of Cinema United expressed skepticism over Netflix's long-term focus on theatrical distribution. They said that the apparent agreement is to abide by existing contractual obligations that they might inherit says nothing about a meaningful commitment to theatrical exhibition. It's a fair point. It's important to note that concerns for the future health of the theatrical industry extend to buyers other than Netflix. In a recent report, for example, a theater executive told the Wrap that Paramount merging with Warner Brothers was a red alert situation, given the potential diminished theatrical outputs from both companies. Despite this interest, Netflix acquiring Warner Brothers still appears to be a challenging task. An analyst from Morgan Stanley cast doubt on the viability of a merger. He said that out of all the interested parties, they may have the smallest synergy opportunity and perhaps the toughest regulatory path to close the acquisition. Also proposed that a deal of this scale could lead to a pressure on the financial performance of Netflix's new acquired Warner Brothers properties, which might in turn result in Netflix needing to grow at a faster rate to justify the spend on such assets. Okay, so that's good enough. So for me, one of the things that I always thought in Warner Bros. Getting involved in this, Winston, was that if I was Ted Sarandos or whoever, and I'm like, okay, one of the things people keep telling us that our biggest problem that we have with creators and other things that we don't do theatrical releases, and that we don't have that. So, but the thing that we don't want to do is one of our fears is spending this kind of money, knowing what we can do and how this is beneficial to us by putting it on our streamer instead of putting all this money into marketing for movies and having these big bloated budgets and stressing like every other studio. So what if we buy Warner Brothers and then give creators an option to basically say, okay, Chris Carr, you want to make a movie with us. You're going to make a movie with us, and you are going to you want to make an adaptation of whatever this book is.
Lord of the Rings entirely with Muppets.
Right. Okay. So with that, you want $330 million to make it, or $350 million to make it. You are not getting to do a theatrical release for that kind of budget. We will give you a Netflix. If you would like to come to Netflix and you want to put that on streaming, we'll give you a 2-week in IMAX. We're going to give you $360 million to do it. If you feel like you can do it on a low, if you feel like you can do it on about $180 million budget to make 2 films or whatever it is, or 200 to make 2 films, we'll release it through the Warner Brothers label. We'll release it through the Warner Brothers label. You'll get your theatrical release, and you'll still have the Warner Brothers stature and all that with it. And you have to choose it. That lower budgets come with the theatrical release. Doesn't necessarily seem that that's what they're going to do here. It seems more so that it's like, I think they said it right, Winston, where it's like they're telling you they're going to obligate the theatrical releases that they have in store right now. For how long they do that it's anybody's guess. So,
Right.
what do you make of this?
I mean, I think the main thing that kind of sticks out to me one way or the other is this idea of there is a fear that the theatrical output is a problem already, and that they understand that it needs to still have a foundation in order for this industry to like continue to move. Because even with them raising the prices on the streamers constantly and blah blah blah, I think there's a reason why Netflix has been pushing harder and harder and harder into live events, because it wasn't necessarily producing the kind of profit return. They've been working, from a loss for a minute, and this live event transition has kind of done that. So I think them knowing that if we do this, we do need to keep the theatrical element of it. I think that that's smart. And if you look at some of the stuff that Disney has done by keeping the 20th century brand and doing exactly that, like you said, keeping that alive and going, with things like Avatar and the Predator series and stuff like that, if Netflix is serious about keeping that separation, I think that that's actually smart. And all you're doing is just putting more, tools in your toolkit. And so I think that that would work. And your game plan of what you just said, I think also works as well. So it's, again, I think Netflix, in my opinion, is probably the least problematic of the buys. Personally, that's how I kind of see it. But again, it's still a merger, and that one line of them being worried about growing too rapidly, it is something to be a little concerned about, because they have been on a growth pattern. You got to be careful that you don't jump to the big leagues. Not that they're not in the big leagues, but you get what I'm saying about like really making a big shift before you're ready, though.
They do. They become a mega. I mean, they become a mega studio at this point. They're really a huge point at this point. And what they've just done over the course of 15, 20 years, or whatever they've done.
Right.
So, this would catapult them in a different stratosphere, Chris. So, what do you make of this report in general, and what do you think Netflix's chances really are?
I mean, I do think they're lower. I do think they're significantly lower because of what you brought up earlier of why buy part of this when somebody else will buy all of it. I don't want to be left with, the scraps or the leftovers that I'm trying to get rid of. It's why at a yard sale, you end up doing a fire sale where everything has to go. Ultimately, though, I feel like Netflix is stating this because I know the Wrap did a piece on this a while ago too, and that it's referenced in here where, Paramount committed to, we are going to increase theatrical releases. And that's a big, big deal for theater owners who are still struggling post-pandemic, who are still trying to get butts in seats and trying to make the theater an experience because of streaming. Now, Netflix has been in a place, as Winston brought up here, of not increasing revenue. And that's why they've started doing things like live events. They've been able to also increase prestige. They've been able to get awards by doing limited theatrical releases to qualify for awards, which is a nice feather in their cap. They've also done those limited releases to get money. It's been shown time and time again, too, that if you put something out in theaters and then you put it on streaming, it's just much more successful. The data is all there. So why wouldn't you do it? So this is a great thing for Netflix to enable them to make more money, because the model is very flawed. You're putting all this money into films, you're using A-list actors, and then you're just hoping that you're keeping retention of your subscribers and gaining a few more subscribers. It doesn't have the same bang for your buck as a big theatrical release if successful. So this is one of those things where it's a Hannah Montana for them. They get the best of both worlds. They can have their theatrical releases. They can make that money, but they can still stick to their guns about what Netflix is supposed to be about. I mostly just like this because it's putting Ted Sarandos in a position where he does have to look at the model that he has been so just absolute about of, we do not do theatrical releases. That is not what Netflix is.
Yeah, it's true. But you can stick to that if you're Netflix. Just manage the Warner Brothers brand.
Exactly. And that's why I think this works really well for him. I just don't know if Warner Brothers is going to go with that bid ultimately.
I wouldn't if I was them. I wouldn't, because of what they said. First of all, I don't know if you're going to honor past that. If we're going to continue the fact that, because you ultimately would just be putting Disney movies out and some Paramount movies, and that's all. And then the A24s and other people putting movies out. Maybe that helps out other smaller studios. Who knows? But I wouldn't, because of what we've been talking about and what Kris just mentioned to again. And that's just like, but what am I going to do with the rest of the crap that I have? Who's going to buy that? It's like a yard sale. I'm like, I got to give it away. It's like, no, just take it all. Like, you just take it all. And I think that I think it's a foregone conclusion at this point, who's getting it. So
Yeah.
we'll see. What do you guys make of the Netflix idea deals? Do you think that Netflix has a shot in hell in getting them? If so, what would happen and what would a Warner Brothers world look like if Netflix were the owners? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.
Getting a Ridge wallet was a game changer. The big, chunky wallet was the worst. It was like a giant, crusty leather brick, just kind of like falling apart at the seams. Well, Ridge, I've been telling you about it. It's unique. They have the slim, kind of modern wallets, and Ridge took their game-changing wallet and made it even better. You can look at that Ridge 2.0. It's the most refined version of the Ridge wallet. It's been perfecting the wallet for 12 years, and everything's better with the Ridge. It's 10% lighter, which is cool. Every gram matters in the Ridge wallet 2.0. They found the perfect balance. Is what I like about them. They made it more modular with improved cash straps, money clips, and the AirTag attachment. There's an improved surface design with tonal logos and matching plate cash straps. I like the Yankee one because that's what they got me, and I dig it. And it's so easy. I love it. Just look at that design. They have over 100,000 five-star reviews, and it's proof that Ridge is a gift people love to receive. It's not just about wallets, too. They create premium everyday carry essentials. They have key cases, they have suitcases, and they're game-changing power banks, all built with the same sleek, durable design. You can find the perfect gift for every wish list. Give the gifts that stay out of the junk drawer and find their way into morning routines, travels, and adventures. I'm getting my brother this. I hope he doesn't watch this because he's going to know what to get him, but that's what I'm going to get him. And for a limited time, Ridge is having their huge Black Friday sale. Head to Ridge, RIDGE.com to get up to 47% off of your order. It's by far the biggest discount that they're going to give all year. That's Ridge.com for up to 47% off your order during the biggest sale of the year. Now, after you purchase it, they're going to say, hey, where did you find us from? You say Kristian Harloff sent you. Support the show and tell them that we sent you.